Destiny's earliest lore before the game was even revealed came in the form of an ARG, an alternate reality game, a puzzle Bungie released clues to for a week until the first Destiny vidoc was released. Each day gave us a little lore entry and a look into the dreams and thoughts of the Traveler, as it was believed. The interesting part, the Pale Heart brings us inside the Traveler in the Final Shape expansion, into its mind and memory. So although this first lore could have just been a tease for the reveal of the game, does it still hold any mystery? Let's take a look. Before we read any of the Alpha Lupi entries, listen to what Osiris said in Veil Containment again real quick.
But this data allowed me to calculate the telemetry of the beam the Veil fired at the Traveler. When the witness linked to the Veil through a ghost, it created a faster-than-light connection of darkness to the Traveler's light. A bridge to the Traveler's consciousness, if it has one. But the beam did not stop at the Traveler, rather a point inside of it.
Inside? Wait, what's inside the Traveler?
No one knows. But if the data I've been able to extrapolate here is correct, that is where the witness is now, inside the Traveler.
So we know the Pale Heart is a new destination and it's inside the Traveler. A big point Osiris makes is that the beam pierced through the Traveler itself, going inside and reaching into its mind. In this new realm, we see memories from our Guardian's adventures as well as the witnesses, so it makes you wonder if the dreams of Alpha Lupi hold any truth to this point. As mentioned, the dreams were a 7-day long ARG. Each body in our solar system had its own little lore entry, and most believed it was told from the perspective of the Traveler itself. More on that in a bit though. This was the first ever Destiny lore, and although Bungie's site with it no longer exists, Destinypedia and other sites still have the text, so let's read those. The best voices, voices that truly matter, never allow themselves be heard. This lesson is worth learning again and again, forever. Your voice moves as a whisper, murmuring inside larger winds. Only the trusted few can absorb what is necessary. Wise and sly and perfect, your instructions drop, leaving nothing but the hard, sweet rhyme of enlightenment. The path is set, your voice is unleashed. One face is blistered, the other plunged into a brutal chill. Is this how it's always been? You remember hot oceans, nourishing atmosphere, but something transpired, kicked what was wet and fertile into space, stealing away everything of value. Or perhaps what thrived here for a day or for 10 million years decided to leave, peeling its wet organics off the bones. You see history hidden between the barren rocks and within the high acid clouds. You see the ruin ready to claim its birthright. Sunlight starves, the fierceness chills and thins and runs sweet. A new ocean emerges, thick and salty and hot, from springs and geysers that drench the dead ground. You wonder, will this world's second birth be its finest? The blaze sits inside a nest of little worlds, still too distant to share its heat but plainly staring out at you. A face emerges, drawn from plasmas and radiation. There must be meanings in its roar. You listen hard and carefully, and sometimes a lucid melody seems to rise out of random noise. Joy builds, and the first hope in ages transforms you. It seems important, even critical, to tell every star from here to the black between the galaxies that you will be strong again. Life waits inside this world bones. Your voice flows across the red rock and through the dead valleys, speaking in code and goads. Ancient volcanoes swell, exploding at their peaks and splitting wide along their shoulders. Ash clouds blacken the starved air. A fossil ocean of ice softens and collapses. Geysers erupt, tall as mountains, throwing up steam and clouds. Every moment matters, and from a great distance, in the midst of 1,000 careful disasters, you watch the transformation with your own eyes. The rose has blossomed. Even the largest body lets itself be pushed where it needs to be, seduced into nice, warm, loving orbits. Persistence is key. Seafloors transform and then yank themselves skyward, shattering the icy crust. New worlds awaken in these swirling depths. You build homes around this half-born sun ripped by storms and supersonic wind. A cold giant shows its night face to you. Distant moons slide past, icy little comets enslaved by a splendid master. The lightning bolts and high clouds sweep away, and you burrow into a sea of liquid hydrogen that boils out of the long gash. You put yourself in the perfect trajectory, and for a fraction of an instant you allow yourself the luxury of confidence. You have lived as invisibly as possible, flicking from solar system to solar system, making grand plans, overseeing the culturing of civilizations before leaving in a blink. But you have no recollection of ever wanting worship or even thanks from those blessed by you. But memory is heavy now. It feels like lead and neutronium and electroweak matter fashioned into a moon-sized ball that you must carry as you move. Now your flight is rapid, your vast mind infected with such dread and toxic doubt that you will find yourself afraid of the simple act of thought. And it is your children you must turn to now in time of need. This has been such a long chase. This will be the place you will fight and win. But do you really know why you go where you go and where this journey is taking you? The chase leads you to where you need to be, you believe, unless you are being pushed. The knife had 1,000,000 blades, and you were giant, powerful, and swift, but the knife pinned you, cut your flesh away. Very little was left, you are sure, because you feel insignificant now. The hard, slick heart of your soul, that is what remains. A body small as a river stone and just as simple. You picture yourself as a piece of indigestible grit, a nameless nothing hiding among other nameless stones. Perhaps you glitter like a gem, yes, pride makes you hope so. If only you could see yourself, but you have no eyes. Not the dimmest sense survives. What lives is memory, and what slim portion of these thoughts can you trust? The knife stole much more than your body. The universe is a beast. The body is made from tiny stuff, from near nothings, from atoms swimming through a blood of crackling sparks. Simple, eternal laws shape the beast. The largest galaxy is ruled by principles of mass and motion. Electrons are slaves to charge and to chance, and this is why the universe feels inexhaustible, eternal. No sun complains about its death. Life is the problem. Life can be woven from flesh or circuit or thoughtful light. Origins don't matter, but small, half-smart creatures have a fierce talent for denying the inevitable, for balking and complaining about injustices that don't exist and consequences that should be borne in silence. This world is rich with family. You pause to rest. Life is a balm. You must cherish it where you find it. You do not mean to stay, but longing and kinship forestalls your departure time and time again. These little gardeners are such careful stewards of fragility. They sing songs of disasters averted and loved ones lost. They fashion heavy elements combined from the bones of old stars into objects of peace and beauty. You must force yourself to be cruel. Your presence is portent. When combined, all of these entries would create this image, which is sometimes seen in the game in various places, I believe, maybe around the 9 and other things. The music of the spheres was also tied into this with some of the soundtrack entries from the game's release and also the music of the spheres itself. Most of these Alpha Lupi entries were also used in Destiny 1 Grimoire cards, but shortened up a bit in some cases. So some of those with the planets may seem like gibberish and crazy talk, mountains, volcanoes, terraformation, all that stuff, but some of them are interesting, like the Traveler one. Going from solar system to solar system, making grand plans, overseeing culturing of civilizations before leaving it in a blink. The memory is heavy now. It says this knife had 1,000,000 blades. We don't know what the knife is. We kind of speculated in other videos it could have been the Witness, but whatever it was, it cut the flesh away of the Traveler, damaged it, so it makes you wonder if any of these cards still hold up. The Unveiling lore book, although it had all that controversies, has a first knife entry, so some of this lore has still been talked about even from some of those early versions. In the Constellation lore book, we also got some info on speakers, or some beings that were able to feel visions and dreams about the Traveler because they were gifted. Some believe that the Alpha Lupi entries were told from the perspective of a speaker itself rather than the Traveler, but it's hard to tell. We have also seen some visions of our own like this during the Red War. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. What are your thoughts on the dreams of Alpha Lupi, and will they play into the final shape at all in this Pale Heart realm? It'd be really cool to see at least some hints towards it, considering it was the first ever Destiny lore, and they're wrapping up this first saga. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.